like to welcome Renee Didonka, who's our Managing Director. Renee's going to do the rest of the introductions, but great opportunity for Bayswater Factory to celebrate a wonderful occasion, and Renee will talk about that with a little bit more in depth as I introduce him. So Renee, thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Let's get this sorted. Wow, you guys do look fantastic. Yeah, we've had a couple of lunches together here, so very familiar faces. Thanks for the great turnout. Andrew, you're going to play catch up later today with production, but I actually would prefer to stop things so you guys can hear about this, because we've got some amazing things going on with Food Bank. On that note, let me first do some intros. So Brianna Casey's over here, the CEO of Food Bank, someone I've got to know really well over the last couple of years and is making some fantastic changes at Food Bank and the way that they operate, and we really enjoy working with Brianna. And Michael Davison's down there too. He's the brains behind the enterprise. He's the guy that makes stuff happen, pushes us, doesn't he, Jack? He does. And Michael, we're really pleased to have you here as well. We've got Peyton Downey from the Glen Park Community Centre. The Glen Park Community Centre are one of the charities that work with Food Bank, and we really appreciate Peyton coming along here today. And Susie, who's also filming, has experience with the Glen Park Community Centre, and it's been lovely to talk to Susie this morning. A really vibrant person who's talking to me about chefs and pizzas and all sorts of things. So fantastic that you guys can all be here. We've had an association now with Food Bank for 11 years, and it's been an amazing 11 years. The reality here is there's something that is very close to my heart, and that is that we make a difference. We make a difference to a lot of people because we think differently about the way we use product that we would normally put in landfill or do other things with. We've learnt that there's plenty of better ways to use damaged product or things that are slightly smudged. And when you start to think differently, you start to be able to contribute in a meaningful way. And it's Food Bank that have actually enlightened us on this. 11 years, we now, over those 11 years, we do 100,000 litres of milk a year in Victoria. So, you know, we know that dairy is a staple. It's required by families, children, and producing and providing 100,000 litres of milk a year makes a real difference. But beyond that, we actually make donations of food that's just not quite right because it is damaged or it does have a smudge label. And to that point, we now hit a milestone. And the milestone is we've had 2.5 million kilos of product donated to charities through Food Bank, which for us is just amazing. Make that real, that's 4.3 million meals. That's the equivalent. That is truly making a difference. There's a very human part to this. And what we love about Food Bank is they are making a difference to lives, but they do bring some business thinking to this as well to challenge how we actually get operation. You know, how do we get efficient? How do we really do it in a way that can start to lift the bar? But ultimately, it ends up in the hands of mums and dads and kids that need it. And that's where it makes a difference. So we're really proud to associate ourselves with Food Bank. It's been a fantastic union over the 11 years. We'll continue doing it. But you need to hear from the people that are actually at the front line. So Brianna, why don't you come and say a few words, and I know that I think Peyton and Susie are going to join you as well. So over to you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for letting us intrude your day. I know that you're incredibly busy, but I've heard that you've had some amazing coffee this morning, so production will be up regardless if you love our caffeine. I just wanted to say a massive thank you. We can't do what we do at Food Bank without each and every one of you. As was indicated, we've got 3.6 million Australians who are affected by food insecurity. That's a staggering statistic. And I'm a mum of 2 boys, and what keeps me up at night is the fact that 1 in 5 Australian children has been touched by food insecurity in the last year alone. And these aren't the people that you'd think. Yes, we are providing assistance to people who are homeless and living on the street, but the vast majority of food insecure Australians are just as likely to be living on each and every one of our streets. These are everyday people who've fallen on tough times. They're mums and dads, they're children, they're retirees, they're students. They're a whole range of demographics, and it's just simple stuff that happens. When you're living paycheck to paycheck or mortgage payment to mortgage payment, it doesn't take much to tip your household budget over the edge. And these donations of dairy products, a product that is so important from a nutritional perspective, to be able to provide mums and dads who otherwise wouldn't be able to fill their children's lunch boxes with essential dairy products makes a difference every day. For us, the fact that we can work and distribute our food through 2,500 charities nationally, including local charities that you'll hear from this morning, we're really proud of what we do. But the challenge we have is that we've got 2,500 charities who are seeing increases in demand for food relief every single day. So we need to rescue more and more food, and we need to have proactive donations as well. And you would have seen Michael and I when we're walking through the factory floor now, looking at little offcuts and little bits and pieces that didn't quite make it through to production. We love rescuing these products because we don't care what food and groceries look like. If they are still fit for human consumption, they're delicious and they provide wonderful nutrients for Australian people who are doing it tough. So a massive thank you for what you do. I know you don't see us directly. I know some of you come out to our warehouses and volunteer, and we love the work that you do. But please know from me, the work that you do, the contribution that Fonterra makes, the wonderful generosity that Fonterra makes, 100,000 litres of fresh milk each and every year, you are making such a positive difference to the lives of vulnerable Australians, and I can't say thank you enough. We're so proud of this partnership. Thank you.
Say a few words.
Do a bit of a,
Okay, I'll jump in here. This is all very well planned, so we just wanted to see how you react to a little bit of silence. Yeah. So come on in here, mate. Oh, we can share, or we can. Yeah, microphone. And Brandon's going to come back in as well. I think the idea here is, you've got a great association with Food Bank, and you've had an experience over the years, and we were talking earlier about the role that you play. So maybe you could explain a little bit about that relationship and how you guys work together.
Sure. So in probably the last 12 months or so, Glen Park noticed a need for food support in our local area to help provide food and referral services for people facing homelessness, survivors or escapees of family domestic violence, whether they were women, men or children. Maroondah and Knox have one of the highest rates of homelessness in the east, so that was pretty astounding to us to know that there were people that we knew that were, I guess, experiencing such negative circumstances. So part of being a community centre is empowering the community, and one of the ways that we could do that was to offer food support and referral services to them free of charge. So that's when our relationship with Food Bank started. So every month we do a pickup from Food Bank, and I would say 85% of the food that we get goes into our pantry to feed families for the next fortnight. And that's fruits, veggies, produce, non-perishable items. We even get some clothes sometimes, like the baby knitted stuff, it's super cute. And the other 15% that doesn't get used during those goes into our social enterprise cafe for community members to take as they need. So it doesn't just stop with our pantry, it helps support our social enterprise and our community as well past that.
And I'll just step in here and ask a question as well.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to know the sorts of people that you're assisting. I think one of the challenges we have and one of the myth-busting opportunities we have is, what is this thing called food insecurity? Why are people going hungry? What are some of the causes behind it? What are some of the people that you're assisting?
Look, food insecurity doesn't discriminate. It could be, a young mum who has just found that she needs to make her mortgage repayment. Families that they have 4 or 5 children, and it just helps to make ends meet. So, and it could be that, food's not lasting as long these days as it used to. So it's just bridging the gap between that. So we're seeing families, we're seeing single parents, we're seeing individuals, we're seeing seniors a lot, which is devastating. But ultimately, it's anybody in your community. You could be walking down the street beside someone and you not knowing that they are living paycheck to paycheck and that they have just been to their local community centre or food service to help get them through the next fortnight. So we just found that a little bit of kindness to everybody makes it a little bit easier.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. It's that kindness, and I think it's really instilling in young Australians in particular, for those of us who've got young Australians in our lives, really educating them about the fact that this is a real challenge that's happening in Australia, and we need to take away the judgment and the stigma attached with food insecurity, because we've got 3.6 million hungry Australians, but we're only getting to 652,000 of them a month. And that sounds like a big number, but if you multiply 652,000 by 12, that's not 3.6 million. We're only getting to about 50% of the people that we know who are food insecure. So I think the real challenge is we can't help people if we don't know where they are, and they won't put their hand up if they think they're going to be judged. I'm sorry we're making you upset. I know it's all very real. It is real. But we love the work that we do with you, and we hope we can do more. And it's organisations like Fonterra that are helping us do so much more. I'm going to come and give you a cuddle.
That's lovely. Yes, Susie. Why don't we come over here and cuddle over here? You might need a tissue. They're clean.
Thank you.
So Susie, you've had direct experience clearly with Peyton and the Glen Park Community Centre and the use of the pantry.
Yes.
Would you like to share that experience?
Yep.
Hold your microphone. Oh, why don't you stand here? Yes.
Yes, I'm firsthand found out about the food pantry through Helping Women's Expo that Glen Park had organised, and I learned a lot about what new community centres now are organising for disadvantaged people, courses and services. And when I found out about the food bank, I thought it was a blessing. Spending money on medical medications and cars. I mean, they are very expensive, and it leaves us a little bit short. So we go without food, and or we give it to our kids or any family, and we miss out. So it's very endearing to have the Glen Park that cook the foods as well. Like, they give us quiches, they make them, and they willingly give them away with a big smile on their face. It's makes you feel important to get fresh fruit and veggies and cheese and milk. One of those special things that we all love so much, and it keeps us in purpose. Like we can then cook and for ourselves and make ourselves feel like we're doing good, we're feeling okay. And it inspires us to stay positive and to know that we're not alone. And it's really awesome to recycle and help everyone that we possibly can. So I've been telling a lot of people that I know that, if you're a little bit short, you can come down and grab a coffee and come and see us at Glen Park. we will look after you.
Well, so well said. Susan, you've got both the experience, but you're also an amazing ambassador for this. And we spoke earlier about doing this on camera and talking to people about it, but you almost forget that that's there because this is such a real story, and I think that's the bit that actually gets me as well. So thank you. We really appreciate you sharing that. So how amazing is that, hey? I mean, this is unscripted. This is just affecting people, and we know we're making a difference, and that makes me feel great, actually. So if I sort of think about the next steps for us, we are going to come down to Food Bank in Yarraville. We're going to get a team down there to help out. We're going to continue this support, and we're going to continue making an impact on lives. And it's fantastic again to have you here, Peyton and Susie, to really bring this to life. I mean, there's nothing just more sort of tangible than seeing it this way. So Brianna, thank you as well for your support, and Michael. What a fantastic morning. We are going to have a morning tea, so we're going to celebrate with some of our great products. And some of you guys will be asked a little bit about what you might have thought about what you've just seen. So if you get a chance, speak to us. Thank you all. Really appreciate this morning. Thank you.